Hello and welcome to Path of Exile Necropolis League. This is a Cyclone of Tumult Slayer build guide. We're at episode 4 in this little mini series. We did gems. We started with flasks. Then in episode 2 we did flasks. The last episode, episode 3, we did our equipment all in detail. And this one we're going to go over the passive tree. But let's have some fun real quick. We'll fire up this. We'll put some extra shrines in there for extra fun, and this one too. So let's go. Oh boy. And the map, it's gone. Let's take a look. I should have looked at the details on it. Nothing really can brick the map though. So let's go like that. And there's all the mods. That's quite a bit. Oh, that's good. More shrines. Here we go. Let's get rid of that, and let's have some fun here. Let's turn our speed on with the automated speed thing. And I hope I don't die. But here, even if I do die, it's okay. This is softcore. It's not that big a deal. And just wipe these guys out and turn this thing on. Oh, now we got more damage, a lot more. I'll take one of those. And I don't even want all that stuff. Ooh, we'll take that. Maybe we won't. Now we're starting to go faster. Let's see if we can get even one of those, the Nico things. I have those in there, so it'll boost up our damage and our speed. I go a little too fast, though. I guess we could do this. Maybe. Breaches aren't that amazing, really. Are these, beyond? Let's see. I guess we can use that, and a breach ring, and that. Here's one. Oh, only one. Let's see if we can get the other ones, too. They're just fun to have. We'll take that one. Now we're even going faster. And I don't know where the other one is. It's around there somewhere. Let's just go do the boss. Holy cow, I'm going fast. It's silly. And we'll drop this down. This guy could be bad. I did have a lot of... It's an 8-mod corrupted map, so it could be bad. I guess not. Not really. Nice. Let's go into this. And this is the speed without that speed buff on there, too. The shrine one. Although the shrines for me last 1 minute and 20 seconds, and they give you a double buff. So it's just really good. But this is the speed, the normal map speed. Nice. Okay, so at the bottom there should be a path of building link, so you can go over everything again if you would like to, but then we're just going to take a look at this. We're going to start out with the Ascendancies. The big one, the one that I love, is this 20% culling, and this is a Slayer. That means every time, if I hit something and it's below 20% health, it just instantly dies. That really helps with the bosses. Or a tough rare. It's just so nice that if you're watching something whittle down in health and it pops at 20%. It's also good because we're doing cyclones, so we're hitting quite often, and no, we're not doing these big massive hits. So let's say the creature is at 21%, and you're doing a 10% hit. Well, that's kind of wasted because you're hitting them more often just for a little bit, just to hit them and get them done. That's nice. So then along the way, we get the 10% more damage. We can't take reflected damage. I'm using Brutality Gem from the last episode we went over, so I don't do any elemental damage. So I'm in really good shape that way. So the only things that can hurt me were yesterday that 60% reduction to the aura. That hurt me on the electricity. But in general, I don't die in these maps. I don't even think about them. I just run through them and just blast everything apart. And I don't even read all the modifications for the map. It doesn't even matter. I just go, okay, whatever, boom, and just kill everything. Nice little boost there. Then it comes down to a couple of choices. This endurance one, I don't gain endurance charges, so I haven't gone that route. So I don't even think about this one. All along, I always felt that Leech was not that great. I've tried it multiple times. It just does. I don't know if the calculations are working out right. And then on top of that, Alkazir, a different YouTube guy, he even said he didn't like Leech needs buffing, I think. So I just don't even mess with this one. And if I don't mess with this one, then I know I can't take this. The overkill, cannot be stunned while leeching, all that kind of stuff. So these are just off the table for me. So then you look over here and you say, okay, extra area of effect. It's fun, and actually, oddly enough, this one plus This one is huge. This adds, I think it's 8 times 4. We're looking at 30, like 82% when you're doing all this, because the meter, the strike range for melee works for Cyclone as well, even though it's not a strike skill. So this one is just brutal, and it helps with accuracy. We'll show you that in a second as well. Everything about this is just nice. And then this one is just pure extra crit damage multiplier, but and a little bit of defenses for the nearby enemies have minus 30% to their multiplier, their crit multiplier. So across the board, this is more and more damage. We stack crits and we stack multipliers on our character, crit multi. So this helps, and then it raises the base up. You'd think, oh, from 5 to 8, that's no big deal. Well, that's your base starting crit, and that's a big deal. It really does make a huge difference. And that's what I went for. Nice. Let's go over the rest of it. When I start the build out, I usually go down one of these side paths just to get to these areas, or maybe over here, over to, as I'm leveling, go over here faster or something, to get the extra Molten Strike hits and that kind of thing. So I usually go this way, but then later in the game, as you can see, these I went back and remapped it this way to get the I need as much life as possible. I don't want to die. The damage is okay, so I added the life here. You can tell I really wanted a lot of life, so this whole wheel is life. There's some life in the middle too, the 50 right there. And then if you don't have any life mods at all, anything with a life tag on your body armor, you can get the 15% life as well. So I could take that. If I ever swap over to body armor without any life on it, and you could do that, you'd get a 15% boost, which is pretty big. What else can we find? So we've gone down here. We've taken the life here. You get some life over here this way. If for some reason you like your build, this one, see, this is, let's say you were right here. This, even though we can't be stunned because we took unwavering stance, this one right here and that one adds up to the 12% total, plus it's got the little regen after a flask. So that's 12%. So if you have, let's say, these two taken, that's 10. You're better off, and you're already right here. Just go ahead and swap over here. It can actually be that way for a few people they think, oh, I have an unwavering stance, so they unspec out of this, but then they might have two here, so it's better to get this way. So as you can see, I went for life. Here's some more life down in here. And let's go over the rest of it. We just come down here. We get our some regen and strength and melee strike range. And then we get the life and the armor. If you need mana regen, which you won't as we get into the end game at this point, I don't need any mana to regen because those the two rings have -3 to their cost, so that this doesn't cost any mana to cast. And then all of our life tap uses a life tap changes the automation from mana to health. And this one, the movement penalty helps us move faster because I think it's your body armor is the one that gives you a 3% slower move speed or something, maybe 5%. It's not much, but I'll take it. And then we went down here. I wanted to get down here. Now you could go I could have just gone this way or moved this down here, and then this would have counted. But this links it through. This is a decent damage, and then we get a little bit of elemental resistance. It's right here and right there, and you get some armor. Same thing over here. Life, cool. So that pretty much wraps that one up. Up here is a little bit of life leech, but it also has some damage. Right here, here's some nice damage and some overwhelm. 12% of their physical damage. Some monsters can actually have, like an armor. They have an armor, and you can overwhelm some of that physical damage reduction. So that helps with because we're doing tons of physical. And then this one is the important one for me. Increased damage against rares and uniques. So I like that one a lot. And I'll explain why I went this way in a second. Down here, I've replaced, I think, 3 of these with the tattoo of that warrior one, and it just changes the strength to 6% increased armor, and we get a lot of armor. I think we're at like 18,000 armor or so, and it goes up from there too. And let's see. We get bleeds right through here, and the important one is the 80% increased critical strike chance against, it's not a more, but it's an increase. More would be crazy. More would put us at the cap if that said more. But all the creatures I'm hitting are bleeding really a lot, almost instantly. It's like a 60% chance to bleed, and within 2 hits they should be bleeding, and then I'm getting more crits against them, and it's just nice. Not more crits, but increased crits. And right down in here, just the impale thing. Impales and more impales, just more damage and some overwhelm, looks like too. Nice. Right over here is more AoE. AoE there. Bigger AoE and even bigger. And in the middle we took the 0.3. That works out to, I think, 8% for each of the melee strike range, so we're looking at 24% there. So I took that one. Then we come down here. Later, as you're building on, you can switch over and pick up something like this. If you find a good gem like I just did there, I searched for it, and a jewel, I'm sorry. So I've got that jewel. Increased, it has, everything's great on that one. I went for life. I wanted some life on there, so I started there. And then I started searching for different things. And then I also started searching for double corruptions on the implicit. So there's the implicits at the top, and the reduced poison duration is the only thing I'd probably not really care about, but the rest of them, those 5 do. I was able to pick up this jewel slot. Same thing, 7% increased life, and then attack speeds, increased damage over time is not that great, but then the crit strike and the attack speed's cool. And we have one more right here. Melee damage, crit strike. I don't like the cursed with a silence thing. That doesn't really help us out. And then 17% increased damage with bleeding. I think that's just bleed damage, so that's probably not that good. This one would probably be a target for an upgrade. And down here, because I am using a sword, I just loaded up on crit multi. There's even some crit multiplier here. We got a bunch here with the with swords, and then we went in the middle and got the sword mastery of extra AoE again. And when it comes down to AoE, you'd think AoE is not a DPS enhancer, but it really is. As you're moving through a map, if your AoE is bigger, they're going to be in the cyclone zone for longer, and they're going to get hit sooner and hit later as you're passing them by. Think of it, if my AoE is twice as big, would it increase my DPS by twice as much? Not necessarily, but it would be a scaling. There is some kind of mathematical figure where you could find out how much the AoE as you're passing through a group of mobs actually matters. As long as it, let's say you pass through and you're just almost able to kill them, but now your AoE is big enough to pass through and kill them. So that would make a huge difference to your DPS, because your DPS really only matters if the creature is dead and you actually get the credit for it, and the drops or EXP. So that matters. That's like a little hidden thing about AoE that you should keep in the back of your mind, that it does actually help with your DPS in mapping, but not on a boss, because the boss, AoE is nice, but you don't need a screen full away. But a screen full away would be interesting too. So there's benefits to it. It's nice. It really is. Same thing down here. More AoE. And that. And this one, if you've killed recently. Doesn't help with bosses that are just a long boss fight, but this is pretty good. Triple damage, just a chance to it. If you ever noticed on the very bottom of your Path of Building, the community build, the program, there's a little button that says heat map. And as you have your character up, if you press that and you have your Cyclone of Tumult selected, what happens, I'm losing my voice, you have the heat map button will show you what nodes will give you the most DPS, and even the triple DPS one I think showed up as a decent, and then you can pick it and see how much DPS you get out of it. It's something. And then over here we get more melee damage and stun duration. Nice. Increased. This is the crit, another crit wheel. Same thing with this one over here. More crit, the more, not more, but multiplier, same thing. And then this one helps with mapping, not versus a boss. You see that 150% increased critical strike chance against enemies that are in full life. It's nice because that first hit is going to be more likely, a very, very likely a crit. And then also it'll help with it'll be a crit and a stun. So I'll be going into a big group of monsters, it crits them, and because it hits so hard, it stuns them, and then they're not a danger to me, and I just go, and I just crush them all down. More attack damage, that adds to the top end for the range, on the maximum side, and some more overwhelm. So we're good through here. There's the bleed, there's the impales, here's some life, here's the a little bit of elemental if you need it. And then we come over here and I grab, because I wanted to go for a Titanic Impacts, and this helps as well. Just more crit, some accuracy, and that's a big multiplier. That's nice. That's like a power charge, basically. Perma power charge, but just nice. And what else? We've got all this, and we're going to come up this way. Oh, and I grabbed that gem too. Nice. We'll come over here. This is basically the stun area, so there's stun related things here. This makes it easier to hit, easier to stun, double the duration, 10% chance, and you can test whether or not your attack speed is going to be if this is a viable option for you. The 60% increased damage. I went with it just to get a bigger hits, so stuns happen more often. And then we come up in here. A little bit of regen, life, and accuracy. Then I came up here for, you get a little bit of movement speed here too, 5%. And then you come up here, strength, easy stuff. And then I'm going to come this way for the two-handed damage and AoE right here. That's a pretty chunky AoE. We're looking at, what is that, 1628? Nice. So I think that's about it. There's a whole nother version of this build that works with an Adorn Jewel. So I'd slap an Adorn Jewel here, and then everything changes at that point. So then I come over here and I get this one, and I get this one, and I start moving everything, and then I get these two. This one over here, and this one over here. And I undo these three, and even probably like dismembering, and I start doing the cluster jewel, a large cluster jewel with the extra open slots for gem slots, and I start stacking in even more magic jewels with life and usually some kind of like either attack speed or some kind of damaging things, and I get them corrupted. So you just stack it up, and that's how you get up to 10,000 life. That's a whole nother level to the build. You're looking at 150 more divines to step into that realm, but it's really powerful and pretty amazing. So I hope this helps. There'll be a path of building down below, but this is my thought process on how I do this and how I get to where I am. I think I covered it all. It's not too much, but I just wanted to go over it in detail and explain myself. There, without a doubt, there's a more optimal way to build this. There might be something over here and redoing this. This is just how I do it. And if you do this with all the other things we've talked about so far, your results in the red maps against all the tier 16s and below and in the delve will be the same as this, and you'll probably do a little better because I'm not that good at the game. I don't claim to be great. I just have a good time and enjoy it. So I hope this helps, and enjoy. We're going to be doing that passive the Atlas tree next in the next episode. Have a good one, guys, and I'll work on my voice. Oh boy, because I was starting to lose it there. I was like, ouch.